Hi, sewing folks, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Beatrice. If this is your first time seeing my YouTube channel or my tutorial, thank you so much for stopping by. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your love so far. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how I draft the pattern of this bag, how I cut it, how I stitched it step by step. So if this is what you're interested in, please keep on watching, watch to the end. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. So without much ado, let's get right started into the video. For this backpack project, these are the materials I use. I have this colorful taffeta fabric that I use for the front design of the bag. I have this black original taffeta fabric that I use for the main body of the bag as well. I have my 1-inch webbing strap that I'll be using in the course of the video. I have my lining that I'll be using. I have my zip yard, my backpack adjuster, my zipper head, and also the pattern paper for this project. I already sketched out the pattern for this bag and I'll be giving you the measurement. The width of this bag measures 11.5 inches wide and the length of the bag measures 14.5 inches long. I also divided this pattern into two. So I divided the width by 2 and I drew a center line. From the width side of the pattern, I went inward by 3 inches. I made a mark there. And also from the height of the bag, I came down by 5.5 inches. I made a mark. I used my curve ruler to connect the points as shown. For the front design of the bag, I went inward from the side by 1.5 inches from here to the down part, and then I drew a straight line. Meanwhile, I'm not marking it on the other side because I'll be folding it into two to cut it out. From the top part of the pattern, I came down by 5.3 inches. I marked it all the way to the other side. I used my straight ruler to connect it. For now, I won't be making any curve around this area because I want to make a duplicate of that second square pattern. I folded my pattern into two. I used my scissors to cut out the first curve as shown. From the other side, I also went inward by 1.5 inches. I ruled a straight line. So whatsoever I have in that smaller box, I went ahead to cut a replicate of it because I want to work on the design for the front. The design, if you look at the design, it has a design at the front. So first of all, we're going to go inward again from this side by 1.5 inches again. I used my straight ruler to connect the point. I also repeated the same process at the other side as well. I went ahead to fold directly on those lines I marked by the sides so it can go inward. I'm doing this because I don't want to cut off my pattern paper because I'll be making another school bag. So this pattern will be useful to me. So I'll place this part and cut it on this design fabric. I'll use this other sides for the black fabric and cut it out 2 pieces. To mark out the curve, I went inward from that smaller box by 1.7 inches. I marked the point, then I came downward by 3 inches and then I used my curve ruler to connect the point as shown. I cut out the inner pattern of the bag. I wasn't supposed to have cut this out because I'm going to still use this pattern to make another bag. So I went ahead to tape it back with my sellotape. And moreover, I already cut out the replicate of that inner panel. So I pinned this pattern on my fabric or my bag fabric. I went ahead to cut it out. So this automatically becomes a back pattern. I'm going to place my back pattern on my lining and cut it out exactly as well. I folded the inner panel by 1.5 inches inward as I marked earlier. I'll place it on this fabric and I'll cut it out. For the remaining sides of the panel that measures 1.5 inches, I'll go ahead and cut 2 pieces of it on this black fabric. I went ahead to cut out the side piece panel. I cut 2 of it So this is how it's going to be. I'm going to place it on the bigger piece. I'll stitch it down by half of an. I also went ahead to cut out the lining pieces for the side panels and also the middle part. So when I cut the lining, I didn't cut exactly. I cut leaving out half of an inch stitching allowance around. I also went ahead to cut out lining for the back piece. The reason why I left allowance by the side is because I don't want it to short while I'm sewing. For the backpack handles, it measures 2.5 inches wide and 15.5 inches long. So how I got this measurement is I took a measurement of the main back piece, the length, and then I added 1.5 inches to it. So this is what it looks like. I also cut out two pieces of the lining for the backpack handles as well. I cut out this rectangular piece of pattern paper, and this is going to be the top gusset of the front side of the bag. So I'll give you the measurement. The rectangular piece measures 11 inches and that is the length of the gusset. So how I came about that measurement was I came down from the top by 6 inches, which is going to be the zippered area, and then I made a mark on both sides. After measuring around it, I have 21.4 inches, so I added 0.7 inches for stitching allowance, that is 22.1. I divided it into 2, and that is how I got that 11 inches as the width of that rectangle. I minused 4 inches from that 11 inches to get the length of this gusset. So that is how I got the measurement. So I'll explain to you how I came about these markings. Please pay attention carefully on this part. So from the side that measures 8 inches long, I went upward by 2.7 inches. Then at the other side, I went inward by 2.3 inches. I used my straight ruler to connect the points. For the top part of the gusset, I used that measurement. I measured from the top to that square, which was 5.3 inches. So that is what I used to mark downward, 5.3 inches. From the center of this gusset, I went inward by 1.6 inches, made a mark. From that point again, I went inward again by 1.7 inches. Then I used my curve ruler to connect from that point to this point as shown. Then I used my free hand to make a curve into that slant line. From the down part of the center fold, I went inward by 1.6 inches. Then from that point, I came down by half of an inch. I used my straight ruler to connect the points together to this side. From that straight line, I went inward by 2.5 inches. And then from that part, I went upward by 0.7 inches. Then I connected a curve from that line all the way to this part. I'm done drafting the front gusset of the bag, so I went ahead to confirm my measurement, which was 21.4 inches plus 0.7 inches divided by 2, and what I have here is 12, so that is still very okay. I went ahead to label it as the front gusset. From that center area, that is going to be cut on fold, but because this fabric is not enough for me to cut it on fold, I'll cut two pieces of this separately and join it. So I'll just cut and leave half of an inch stitching allowance. I cut out two pieces of this gusset, so I'm going to join it at the center by half of an inch. So I'll go ahead and cut the lining for it. I'll go ahead and top stitch the two side panels to the lining all round. I'll do the same thing for the middle piece as well. When I'm done, I'll go ahead and trim out the excesses by the side. After top stitching the two side panels and trimming out the excesses, this is what I have. I did the same thing for that middle piece as well. So I cut out this lining fabric, which is the same measurement as the middle piece, for the zippered pocket. I also joined the two gusset pieces together at the middle. I top stitched it, and I also cut out the lining for this piece as well. From that centered panel, I came down by 2.7 inches and drew a straight line. So this is the part where the zipper is going to come in. So I went ahead to cut it out. I placed the wrong side of that zipper on top of the pocket. Then I placed the cutout piece right sides facing each other. So I'll go ahead and stitch it down by half of an inch and flip it over. After top stitching, the next thing I'm going to do is I'll take out this cutout piece, place it right sides facing the zip. I'll fold that inner pocket piece like so. I'll go and stitch it down by half of an inch. After stitching the top part and top stitching it, this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and insert my zipper on one end to the other side. Then I also went ahead to cut out the excess zipper by the side. Then I'll place these side panels right sides facing each other. I'll stitch it down by half of an inch on both sides. I'll also top stitch it. I stitched the two sides of the panel to the middle piece and I top stitched it. So when I placed it in that square I made from the original pattern, it wasn't aligning to the side. So I'll go ahead and loosen it out. I'll cut out another two side panels that measures 2 inches. By the time I stitch it, it will fall back to the original measurement. So I went ahead to correct these side panels by losing it out and cutting new ones of about 2 inches. So at the end of the day, when I stitch, it's going to align with the square there. For the front design, I went inward by 2.2 inches. I marked it and I came down by 3 inches. I used my curve ruler to make a curve. Then I folded it into two like so. I used my scissors to cut it out. To know the measurement of the upper part where the zipper is going to stay, I came upward by 4.5 inches. I made a mark. I also did the same thing for the other side. So I went ahead to take the measurement from one end to the other. And what I got was 16 inches. I added 1 inch stitching allowance on the zip and I went ahead to cut out the zip cloth. For the gusset at the down part, I went ahead to cut two side panels which measures 1.7 inches, because if you look at our pattern paper, the side panels were 1.5, so I cut it 1.7 because when I stitch it, it's going to fall back to that 1.5. I cut out two pieces of it and this is how it's going to look like. I cut out the lining piece as well. I used this insulator foam for the stiffener of the bag. I forgot to show you guys this earlier in the video. So this is what I'm going to be using. So I placed my back piece on top of it. I traced out that shape as shown. So I also went ahead to go inward by 0.6 inches. 0.6 inches all around, because I don't want that foam getting into my stitching allowance by the sides. I also went ahead to cut it all round. After cutting out the foam for the back part, I also go ahead to cut out foam for this front smaller piece. Whatever you do, take 0.6 inches away from the sides. I'll do the same thing for the front gusset as well. I went ahead to cut out the foam for all the pieces and we already cut out the back piece with the lining as well. For the front gusset, I also went ahead to cut out foam for it. You can see that I took out 0.6 inches around the sides. I cut out the lining as well. I also cut out foam for the smaller front piece and the lining as well. So I cut out this foam for the bag and back handles. So I cut out 4 of it because I want to double it and I want the handles to be stiff. So I'll use my glue to glue it together. I have all my pieces cut out, so I'll go to the sewing machine to stitch all of this. The first step I'm going to do right here is I'll top stitch this front design part to the lining piece before attaching the zipper at the top. And before I do that, I'm going to use my glue to glue this foam to that front panel because I don't want this foam to be moving about. I want it to stay in one place. Then I placed this front piece on top of the lining and I top stitched all round. I went ahead to cut out another panel that I'll be using to stitch with the zipper, and it's the same length as the zipper and 1.5 inches wide. So I also cut out the lining and top stitched on it. I placed the right side of the zipper on top of the right side of that zipper panel, and I stitched it down by half of an inch. After stitching the zipper to the zipper panel, I went ahead to flip it to the wrong side, and I top stitched it as shown. After top stitching the zipper panel, I folded it into two like so, and I notched it at the center to get the midpoint. From the center notched point of the zipper panel, I placed it on the center of that front design. I went ahead to stitch it all the way to the part where the zipper is going to stop, where I marked the lines. So after stitching, I'll go ahead and repeat the same process to the other side. I went ahead to stitch to the other side as well. So I went ahead to take my two down gussets. So I'll just place it on top of it, right sides facing each other. I'll stitch it to that zipper area. You can see that I've stitched the down corset, so I stopped at that marked point. So I'll fold them together at the remaining allowance. I'll go ahead and stitch it down. So I'll do the same process for the other side as well. I went ahead to stitch it down at that allowance. I also did the same thing for the other side as well. I stitched the allowance as well. I noticed that I forgot to fix my zipper head before stitching it around the allowance. So I'll loosen it up, insert my zipper head and fix it back. And then when I'm done, I'll cut out the excesses by the sides. I went ahead to stitch again around that side that I joined the gusset. So I'll go ahead and flip it to the wrong side and top stitch it as shown. Like I said earlier, I'll loosen it up, fix my zipper head, cut out the allowance and top stitch on the other side. I top stitched the other side of the gusset. I also went ahead to fix my zipper head. So I cut out another panel by placing this front piece on another material to trace out this shape. So when I was doing that, I opened up that zipper area well, and I also cut out excess allowance at the top so I won't run short of the fabric and all of that. So I also cut out lining and top stitched it all round. I placed the front piece of this bag on top of the side that has the lining. I went ahead to stitch it all round to hold it down. After top stitching the front panel to the second panel, this is what I have. So that allowance is very valid because it's better I have excess at the top than having less. So I went ahead to cut out the excess at the top. I opened up the zip at the top and you can see the compartments that we have inside of it. The next thing to do is to work on the top gusset. So I flipped it to the wrong side and then I used my glue to apply it on top of that insulated foam. So after I did that, I went ahead to place it directly on the wrong side of the front gusset. So I brought in my lining and then I'll place the gusset on top of it as shown. I'll go ahead and top stitch all around the sides. I top stitched the lining to this upper gusset and I trimmed out the excesses by the sides. So this is what it looks like. Then I already have the midpoint of this front gusset. So I went ahead to mark out the midpoint of this front piece as well. From the down part of the gusset, just after that joining, I came down by 1.3 inches on both sides. So that is where the front or top gusset is going to end. I went ahead to align the midpoint of the top gusset with the front piece, and then I went ahead to stitch it down. So I stitched and stopped at this mark point exactly. So this is what I have. This is how the bag is coming out. I'll go ahead and stitch the other side as well. After stitching the other side of the gusset, this is what I have. So I noticed that when I placed this particular piece on top of the back piece, it was shorting, and it was shorting of about 4 inches. So I went ahead to cut out another piece of about 6 inches to stitch it. So I also top stitched this particular panel. I placed it on top of each other. I went ahead to stitch it by half of an inch, and then I top stitched it as well. So after top stitching it, this is what I have. So when I place the back piece on this front piece, we're going to have excess, so I'll trim it out. I trimmed off the excess at the front part, so the front and the back panel aligns properly now. So that was why I added that 4 inches at the down part. So from this up part at the front, I went upward by 1 inch, I went inward by 1 inch. I folded this into two and I cut it in a curve manner. I repeated the same process for the bottom of the back panel. I'll just fold it into two and cut it out in a curve-like form as I did earlier. From the point where the top gusset stopped, I measured all around for the length of the down gusset, and what I had was 25 inches. I'll go ahead and cut out 25 inches long plus 1 inch, making 26 for the down part of the gusset. I went ahead to curve out the bottom of the back piece, and this is what I have. So it's now time for me to work on the straps of the bag back. So I placed this panel on top of the lining. I went ahead to top stitch all round, leaving one end open. After top stitching, I went ahead to trim out the excesses by the sides. So this is the opening I left at the top. So if you notice, I glued two of the foam that I cut earlier, and I went ahead to insert it into this panel like so. I folded the back strap into two like so. I went ahead to use my scissors to make a slant cut. This is for the top part of the back strap. So for the down part, I went ahead to fold it into two again. I went ahead to cut it out, but I cut it in a much more curve-like manner. So this is the down part of the strap, and that is the upper part. So I went ahead to use my 1 inch webbing strap to pipe it all around to the other side as shown. Meanwhile, when I cut out the insulated foam for the back strap, I didn't cut it exactly the width of this back strap because it's going to give room for me to pipe it properly at the sides as shown. After piping it, this is what I have, so I'll repeat the same process for the other strap as well. To work on the adjuster of the back strap, I went ahead to cut out this 1 inch webbing strap that measures 4.5 inches. I cut two of it. So I went ahead to insert the strap into the adjuster as shown. So I dragged it like so, and then I left half inch at this part. I went ahead to fold back the half inch like so. So I placed it on top of the strap. So I made sure that that adjuster stopped exactly where the piping stopped. So I went ahead to stitch it in a box like form to hold it down. And this is the outcome. Like I said earlier, I'll repeat the same process for the other part. I'll also stitch the adjuster in the same manner. I stitched the second strap and piped it round. I also went ahead to stitch the buckle on it as well. So I got the midpoint of my back part. I'll go ahead and stitch these two straps at the top as shown. So I just placed one of the strap just directly or slightly after that center line. I went ahead to stitch it down. So I placed the other strap and also stitched it down as well. I cut out another strap that measures 5.5 inches long. This is for the top handle of the backpack. So I placed it just after that piping. I went ahead to stitch it down, and then when I reached to the other side, I folded it in this manner. I also went ahead to stitch it down. I went out to cut out a square piece here that measures 3.9 inches on all sides. So I folded this square in this manner to get the middle crease line. I went ahead to use my scissors to cut at that crease middle line like so. After cutting it out at the middle part, I folded it around this side by half of an inch like so. I also went ahead to fold it into two again in this manner. Meanwhile, I cut out two straps that measure 17 inches long. I cut two of it. So I folded this part into two like so. Then I went ahead to insert that strap of about half inches inward. Then I went ahead to stitch it and I turned it around and made a double stitch as well. I'll go ahead and repeat the same process on the other strap on the other half cut out piece. I'll just fold it into two and insert the rope. So from the down part of this back part, I just went upward by 3 inches. So that is where I'll be placing this part like slanting towards the other side. I'll go ahead and stitch it down. When I stitch the other strap to this smaller piece, I'll go ahead and stitch it on the other side as well. I stitched the other strap on the other side as well. So I'll take my lining, I'll place my back part the wrong side facing the lining and then my foam in between, but I'll glue the foam on the back part. I'll go ahead and top stitch all around. I'm done top stitching the lining to the main fabric and you can see the foam inside as well. So at this top gusset, I went ahead to cut off half inch at this top part because I'll be attaching a zipper panel and a zipper at the top of that area. I cut out the zipper panel and the zip to be the same length as the top gusset. I cut out the zipper that is the same length as the zipper panel as well. I also cut out lining for this zipper panel. I top stitch the lining to the zipper panel. So the next thing I'll do is I'll place my zipper right sides facing each other on the zipper panel. I'll go ahead and stitch it all the way to the end. After stitching, I flipped it to the right side. I went ahead to top stitch it as shown. After I top stitch the zipper panel and the zipper together, at the end of the day, the zipper panel measures 1 inches wide. So I'll go ahead and place this zipper panel right sides facing each other on the top gusset. I'll go ahead and stitch it all the way to the other side. I'll go ahead and insert my zipper head on both sides of the gusset. For the width of the down part of the gusset, I measured the top gusset with the zipper panel and it measures 4.5 inches. I'll go ahead and measure this down part all the way to the other side. So because I added another zipper panel at the top of this gusset, the front parts of this bag is going to be longer than the back part. So I just try to place it together at the midpoint and the excess at the down part, I'll go ahead and cut it off. For the down part of the gusset, the measurement I measured earlier, I went ahead to cut out the down part. I glued the foam in the middle of the down part of the gusset. So I'll go ahead and place this down gusset and top stitch all around. I cut out the excess at the down part. So when I brought back my back panel, I placed it together. It was equal at the base. I went ahead to top stitch the lining and the down gusset together. So I folded it into two like so. I notched it at the midpoint. I folded the front as well. I also notched it at the midpoint. I matched the center piece of the down gusset to the center piece of the front. I went ahead to stitch all the way to the other side where the upper gusset stopped. I'll go ahead and stitch from the center to the other side as well. After stitching the other side of the down gusset, this is what I have. Then I folded the top and the bottom gusset where they meet. I'll go ahead and stitch it at the allowance. I'll stitch the other side as well. So this is how I was stitching the sides together using the remaining allowance. Then I also went ahead to cut out the excess by the sides. I'll go ahead and top stitch on the side. I'll do the same thing for the other side. I joined the other side of the top and the bottom gussets together and I top stitched it all around. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll take my back piece and then fold it into two, get my midpoint. I'll fold it at the bottom and also get my midpoint. So I'll try to align this center to center at the top and stitch it. I'm done stitching the front and the back panel together, so I took my matchstick to burn off the fraying edges because I don't have a piping rope to pipe this right now. So I went ahead to flame it all around. I went ahead to notch the curved corners at the top so it will relax properly when I turn it inside out. I went ahead to open up my bag and I turned it inside out to the right side. At this point, I went ahead to insert the rope by the sides of the bag into that adjuster as shown. I'll insert it from one end to the other side. So I'll draw the rope out, fold it and stitch it down. Guys, I'm really sorry this wasn't showing clearly. I'll make a proper video on how to do that. I did the same thing for the other side as well. So we've come to the end of today's tutorial. This is what the bag looks like. So if at this point you've watched this tutorial to this extent and you've not hit the like and subscribe button, please hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment below. I really went through a lot trying to make this tutorial for you guys, so please like and subscribe. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.